Hello Greyhounds! As we are eagerly waiting for the fourth season of Ted Lasso to be released, why don't we take a stroll down memory lane to remember Easter eggs and pop culture references from 3 adorable seasons. Episode 2 of Season 1, Biscuits. Let's deep right in. The first pop culture reference is instigated by Ted bringing Rebecca biscuits and asking her for her first and her favorite concert, with the answer to both being the Spice Girls. Now, if Rebecca is a similar age to Hannah Waddingham, she would have been around 23 when the Spice Girls first went on tour, which I feel is a bit too old for someone's first concert, and also probably a bit too old for it to be the Spice Girls. Anyway, I guess they are recognizably British, and I won't complain about anyone liking the Spice Girls. Personally, I think that the best Spice Girls song is Two Become One, but the internet disagrees with me. Wannabe seems to edge over the rest of the songs in YouTube, and it is by far their most listened song in Spotify. Ted's first concert, meanwhile, was Kenny Rogers, the gambler himself, an American country music singer-songwriter who is considered one of the best-selling artists of all time. Again, if Ted is around the same age as Jason Sudeikis, it feels like a weird first concert for, let's say, a 15-year-old. The Beastie Boys, meanwhile, feel like an appropriate choice for best concert. Ted says he saw them in 1995 at Horde Fest. The slight problem is that while Horde Fest, the traveling rock festival originated by rock band Blues Traveler, was indeed touring in 1995, the Beastie Boys didn't feature in it. They had headlined Lollapaloza, a probably more well-known traveling rock festival, in 94, and according to Beastie Mania, they did play Kansas City in 95 for their own Quadrophonic tour. But I think we get the idea. I'd never heard of Horde Fest before, which seems like a cool festival with lots of interesting bands, so thanks Ted for the shout. Meanwhile, Higgins's first concert was Boy George, which again, if Higgins is around the same age as Jeremy Swift, might be a bit too late for a first concert, as Boy George and his previous band Culture Club were active in the mid-80s. I mean, I'm guessing people go to their first concert in their teens rather than their 20s, right? Ted mentions in passing the OJ trial. He's referring to the trial of OJ Simpson, which was a huge story in 1995, in which former NFL star and beat actor OJ Simpson was controversially acquitted of the murder of his wife, Nicole Brown, following a sensational series of events, including a very famous anticlimactic car chase. If you are unfamiliar with the story, the 8-hour documentary OJ Made in America is fantastic. You'll be sorry it's only 8 hours. And Sarah Marshall has done 16 episodes on the trial on the seminal You're Wrong About podcast. And yes, you'll be sorry, it's only 16 episodes. Now, about those biscuits, we find out at the end of the episode that Ted is not buying them, but is actually baking them himself and putting them in that cute box. Turns out, though, that the biscuits were not that delicious. According to Hannah Waddingham, in an interview to Awards Daily, they were very bland, and it was the greatest acting job of her life to make them look delicious. I'm slightly disappointed by that. Ted also attempts the moonwalk, saying that, despite recent headlines, it's still a fun dance move to do, which really captures the conundrum of fans in the world when they find that their favorite artist may be a horrible person. In other news, Ted likens McAdoo to a Rodin sculpture with cleats. He's referring to French sculptor Auguste Rodin, probably the most famous modern sculptor, and I'm guessing he's thinking of his most famous work, The Thinker. Actually, in the last episode of Season 2, when the team is pretty depressed at halftime, McAdoo takes the same pose as the sculpture, and the resemblance is hard to miss. Everybody groans when the reporter from The Sun announces himself at that press conference. The Sun is probably the most infamous British tabloid, truly one of the worst of the worst. We do get a quick Kansas City reference when Ted gets a care package from his son, and we get a glimpse of a barbecue sauce from one of the big 4 barbecue joints in Kansas City, Arthur Bryant's. Oh! Ted sets up a 7-on-7 drill that he calls the Exorcist, a reference his players clearly don't get. The drill was about possession, which was also the subject of the classic William Friedkin film The Exorcist, a slightly different kind of possession. We get a bit of sports psychology advice too, when Ted advises Sam to have goldfish memory, that is, to forget his mistakes and carry on playing. While this is excellent for all sports, it is blatant slander for Goldfish, as they actually have great great memories. Ted is humorously mystified by Briticisms, usually discussing them with Coach Beard. In one of those discussions, he refers to the works of writer Alex Haley, who wrote the 1976 book Roots, the Saga of an American Family, and the autobiography of Malcolm X, in collaboration with Malcolm X himself. Take your pick on which one of the two would be considered seminal. My favorite Ted misunderstanding is with Jamie Tart, when Jamie thanks him by saying cheers, which is a common way of saying thanks in the UK, which Ted misunderstands for a reference to the famous 80s sitcom Cheers, set in Boston, where everyone knows your name, and he responds with Night Court, which is another sitcom of the 80s, probably more obscure. It did get a sequel in the 2020s though, and I will leave you with some stray observations. I have absolutely no idea what this poster that is gifted to Sam for his birthday is supposed to mean. Please enlighten me if you have any clues. Penis girth is one of the suggested searches for Rupert Money on Rebecca's ex. And in other internet searches suggestions, someone went to trouble to Photoshop Rebecca and Rupert for a thumbnail on YouTube. Talk about attention to detail. The show would also like us to think that Ted and Beard are strolling along this lovely park, but they aren't. This is Primrose Hill, near Camden, quite far away from Richmond, where they are actually walking along Richmond Green, a lovely, albeit more modest, patch of green. This is the first appearance of the guitar-playing busker. Keep an eye out for him in the future. And that's it for this episode. If you enjoyed this, please consider liking or subscribing. As always, thanks for watching.